I'm Anitra Terrell, owner of Reflection Design, Afro-modern home decor. And I'm passionate about telling the stories of how we express joy at home using the art and textiles of our roots. So join me as I take a closer look at the lives and homes of men and women across the African diaspora. This is how we live. Hi, I'm Anitra Terrell with ReflectionDesign.com, and this is How We Live, the show that celebrates the lives and homes of people across the African diaspora. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Adaeze Brinkman, a Colorado-based worship pastor, musician, visual artist, and so much more. In this episode, you'll learn why compromise is an important part of decorating and how to make space for creativity in your home. Plus, you'll get several decorating tips you can incorporate today. So let's get into it. Hi, Adaeze. Welcome to How We Live. How are you doing today?
Great, Anitra. How are you?
I'm doing well, and I'm so excited to talk to you today. I saw some photos of your home on Instagram, and I had to clutch my pearls. I don't wear pearls, but I had to clutch my pearls because your home is so, it's like and you can describe it better in a couple of seconds, but it's like a tropical,
Ooh,
cultural,
yes.
warm
That's what I'm going
sanctuary.
for. You did it great.
It's
Yes.
and so I said, I have to talk to this sister. I have to bring her on the show.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for being here.
Thank
And
you for having me.
you're a multi hyphenate. You're a worship pastor, a singer, a visual artist, a
Mhm,
DIY maven, a blogger, a content
mhm.
creator. Did I leave anything out?
I mean, there's many other things, but no, that's the main gist of it. Yes.
And so it's so interesting and so exciting because I was thinking, with someone that's so well-rounded
Mm,
and obviously not only approaches their life but approaches their home from a very
mm,
unique perspective.
yeah.
um, I just knew that our audience would enjoy meeting you and talking to you and getting to know
Mm,
you. So
thank you.
let's start there.
Okay.
Tell us about you and your home.
Yes. Well, again, thank you for having me on here. I'm so excited to be on this amazing show with you. So you said a lot of it, which I appreciate. I'm so honored that the way you described me. I am a full-time worship pastor, and on the side, I do a lot of creative work because that just feeds my soul. I do content creation. I do some Daisy Doodles, which is my art on the side, which is celebrating women of color, but it's for everybody to enjoy. And I also do some videography here on the side, some photography, just some random, content creation stuff with companies. I've been doing that for the last 10 years or so.
Okay.
And that's about it for as far as work that I enjoy doing. That's the main gist.
And you're in Colorado, correct? Tell us about
Yes.
your home, where in the area and the location.
Yes, I'm in what I call Widerado. Uh, although sometimes, lately it has been way more, it's felt more diversified, I think, as more people of color I think just share who they are more. I think it's made it
Right.
feel like, oh, I'm not alone out here. Wonderful.
Yeah.
But yes, I do love the Colorado mountains. My husband and I, we love spending time outdoors and we like bringing outdoors in. That's a lot of what
Mm.
I'll probably talk about soon with the home. But
Hmm.
living in such a beautiful area like God's creation out here, I feel he's has a special place in his heart for Colorado because the mountains are just so majestic and they're an inspiration in and of themselves. But yeah, I live in Colorado and I've lived here for the past 13 years now.
Okay.
Hmm.
Now, I use some words to describe your home, but I would love to know, how do you describe your home and what was the intention when decorating it?
Yes. Um, I would describe, you asked me to describe it, so I won't think this is big headed when I say these words, but I would
Oh.
describe our home as warm, inviting, and authentic. And
Mm.
I use those words because it has been an interesting journey for Chad and I, my husband and I, to combine our two tastes, which are pretty different, and still have it feel like both of us, not just my home or not just his home.
Mm.
And so the authenticity of that, I believe, truly shines through. I think it's a really beautiful combination of our styles, kind of like our marriage, right? It's learning how
Mm.
to complement each other's styles and bring them together in a way that makes sense. It's not like, oh, that room is this and that room's that, you know. And then inviting, I want for people to come in and not feel like they can't touch or sit anywhere. You know, I want it to just feel like the home just invites them in and kind of envelopes them in a hug, you know. And then also it inspires people and empowers people to do the same in their own home. So that's kind of how I could keep going, to be honest with you, but that's the main gist of how I would describe my home.
And I think one of the things that makes your home so special is the colors. It almost
Hmm.
has a tropical vibe. There's teals, there's turquoises, there's
Hmm.
corals, and then there's the textures, there's baskets and
Yes.
plus the plants. What made you choose color? Why did you
Hmm.
gravitate towards color as opposed to creating a more neutral color palette in your home?
Yes. So that's an interesting question because that was a big struggle. It was a big challenge in a good way for my husband and I because I love bright colors. He loves neutrals. So we've embraced black and wood for our
Mm-hmm.
neutrals, which really complements color very well.
Mm-hmm.
And since my favorite color is the turquoisey kind of family, we kind of went with more of a deep turquoise, not like a bright in your face one that feels more welcoming and inviting and soothing. And so that's kind of when you look around our home, you see a lot of wood and black, and then one at least a main pop of color, which is the deep turquoise and stuff. And that I've just loved that color since I was little. I think I remember my mom telling me it complements my brown skin, and I was like, "Oh, you're right, it does." And then I think I just fell in love with it from there, and I've loved turquoise since I can remember. So that's kind of why that was a no-brainer. And then as far as how to combine them, we wanted something that felt very effortless. So that's why we kind of kept the same pop of color everywhere, and you see that everywhere.
Yes, and you've done it beautifully and masterfully.
Thank you.
And thinking of speaking of black and wood,
Hmm.
let's go into your kitchen.
Okay.
You already know I've told you that I'm absolutely obsessed with it.
Thank you.
It's so beautiful, but it wasn't that way when you moved in.
No.
You and your husband totally remodeled it yourselves, right?
Yes. Correct. Yeah, we built this home very recently. Like we built it with a builder, and we just finished it several months ago. And so everything still feels kind of new, but it was a blank slate. We didn't want to upgrade anything in the design center because that's so expensive, and we just
Yeah.
like doing things ourselves. And we figured it would save us money, time even, and it would be a very it'd be a very it would be something that would help us kind of bond in this house
Mm.
together and make it our own. And so we took on the kitchen and we only painted the housing section of the cupboards black, and then we left the fronts the natural wood color. So it's like this two-tone, very natural vibe. We added some gold, and I did a I'm looking over there right now, but I did a hand painted African inspired wallpaper in there. We did the marble backsplash ourselves. It was humbling, girl. I'll tell you that much. I have never done backsplash in my life, and I was a little intimidated. But that's the beauty of like making our homes ours, right? It's we get to say, I did that. Like I put that thing on the wall, or I made that room work, or whatever. And so, and then we obviously added plants because nature is just an amazing accessory to me. It's natural art, you know. So that's kind of how we did our kitchen.
Did you run into any? I'm sure you did, but tell us about maybe one of the challenges you ran into, but also one of the lessons you learned from that project, and one that you would suggest to others if they want to tackle a DIY project.
Hmm. Challenges. Not measuring everything out because I was so excited to just go. And my husband's more of a planner. I'm more of like, I have the vision, let's just go. And specifically for the wallpaper, I started out just kind of with an idea, and my first go was great. I think it was beginner's luck because then I tried to duplicate it on another wall, and the wall was like, you have to measure me. I'm a different wall. So um, I would say measure out everything. If you're daring and you've done it before, great, go for it without measuring. But I think the meticulous planning I get impatient because I'm so excited to just get creative and start doing things, right? But that definitely helps in the long run to have the plan, map it out, all the things, and then you can come back to it too. You don't forget if you're, days into the project. And then I would also say be willing to compromise, especially if it's more than just one person that's working on the space. I had a lot of crazy ideas that sometimes my husband Chad would be like, "How about this?" Because his style, we have different styles, like I was saying before, and so it definitely helps to humble me when I'm working on a project with my husband Chad. It's not just about me, right? And the space can't just be about me because it's supposed to be welcoming for everybody. And so, yes, our styles are the ones that are kind of pushing forward the creative mind, but as far as how it comes together, thinking past myself is very helpful. So that's what I would encourage other designers to do. It's great for you to feel comfortable in it, but think about how it will make other people feel coming into your space. What is the environment you want them to walk into, and then design with that. And I think that'll help be able to let go of some things when it doesn't work out exactly the way that you want.
Wow. Lots of so many good points. I'm trying to think of which one do I want to. I think the main takeaway though is remembering that there are other people that live in the home
Hmm.
and to consider their tastes and their
Yes.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to, feel comfortable when they come home every day and
Exactly.
not think, oh Lord, I hate that wall color and I have to
Right.
come home to it every single day.
Yes.
So the compromise is key. So
Yeah.
I thank you for that.
Mhm.
One of the other things that I noticed in your home is I get a sense of that balance was an important
Mhm.
aspect in your
Mhm.
home.
Mhm.
Particularly, I noticed a wall, and I think you might be sitting in front of it, where you have two windows by the door,
Yes.
and then you set up two mirrors
Yes.
next to it, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. Was that on purpose? Am I making stuff up? Talk to us about that because we all have that wonky wall
Yes.
or just part of our house, or there might be an air conditioner unit sitting there, or the electrical circuit box, and you want to cover
Hmm.
it up, or there's just something off
Yeah.
about the wall. But I
Hmm.
think your idea with the mirrors is brilliant. So walk us through that.
Thank you. Yes, you caught on exactly. Um, I think this wall is so awkward. It's just it's a door, two two windows, and then nothing. And then in between the nothingness, there's a little banister for our staircase right here. So I looked at it and I was like, why would we do this? And that was one of the things we couldn't change with the design of the home. But um, I also love the opportunity it gave me, which is another thing I would suggest to people. Like, what does a space that feels like it doesn't work? Like, what is the opportunity there? And I realized we can completely echo the windows by putting two mirrors of the exact same height in right next to them. And at first I was like, well, the black the black framing might not go with it because they're white blinds on the windows, but honestly I think it just kind of fades back into the wall a little bit and helps it maybe look less like a window if it had the white framing on it. So yeah, that was an idea I presented to my husband, and thank God IKEA had some windows, or not windows, mirrors that were the exact same. I'm not even kidding, Anitra, exact same length and width as our windows. So it was meant to be. So I think it opens up the space so much. It reflects the kitchen, which is one of my favorite parts of the home, and yeah, it's perfect. I was wanting art maybe, and I think it's just a way of reflecting the home as its own art into the room.
Very well said. It reflects the home, it reflects light,
Hmm.
um, but it also reflects you and your husband,
Hmm. Yeah,
which is
that's
nice. And I
beautiful. Oh, I love that.
yeah, and I again that just the idea of balance.
Yeah.
I, I could just see hints of it, like
Hmm.
the plants above your kitchen window, the
Hmm.
way they're draped. There's two long ones on the side and then a smaller one in the
Yes.
middle.
Oh, you
There,
noticed.
there's this is my wheelhouse right here.
You're right.
Okay,
You're right. You're right. You're right.
this is my love language. So the design and the balance and the color and the culture of it all, that's my
Hmm.
jam. So I was looking at the pictures like, wow, balance, another
Yeah.
example of balance. And so,
Mm.
and harmony, I think too.
Yeah.
But what I also noticed was the gorgeous African decor throughout your home,
Uh-huh.
including the furniture that you're sitting on.
Mm.
Why was it important for you to have African decor in your home?
Mm. I love who I am. I love where I come from. I love my heritage. Um, I have two amazing parents who were born and raised in Nigeria, moved to London, England to have my brothers and I, and then moved to America to give us a better life. And I just the bravery that it took for them to come here and make a life for us, and all of their family was saying, "What, you're crazy," all of that. They're the first in any of their families um, to do such a move, you know. And so they left everything that they knew and forged together arm in arm and went forth. And that is so who I am, like going forward into the unknown and just being like, even my maiden name is Azupike. And that means that God is my back and my family is my backbone. With them, I cannot fail. And it's a beautiful way for me to encompass my history and what makes me who I am with my family line, like where I come from, my ancestors, you know. And let's be real, like they didn't have the blessing of being able to make their home their own back in the days of slavery, you know. And so this is actually somewhat of a, I think, ode to them, ode to where I come from, and to never forget, and even to remind other people that walk into my home and they're like, "Oh, what's this?" I get to be like, "Oh, let me tell you," you know. Like it's so much fun for me to share who I am, even if they don't ask. I'm still sharing who I am. I'm still proud of where I come from just by like putting your beautiful fans that you sell, putting those on my wall and being able to look at them and just smile and be like, "That's I see you," you know, or I see where I come from. I see the strength that I carry. And that honestly inspires me to go out into the world and do the same. Like if I can't express myself fully in my home, where else am I going to even do that? You know, so it actually empowers me to be more of who I am in my home so that I can go out into the world and do the same.
Daisy, you are over here preaching,
I will, girl. Come on.
preaching. Like I mean, okay. Let me just take one piece at a time because clearly I could talk to you for hours.
Right? Let's just do
So
it.
you mentioned creating a home that inspires you, makes you proud of who you are,
Hmm.
ignites your creativity so you can go out in the
Hmm.
world and be creative.
Hmm.
Um, how have you created areas in your home to spark creativity? I noticed there are a lot of instruments in your home.
Hmm.
What are some of the other ways that you were intentional about making creativity be front and center in your home to inspire you and your husband?
Yes. We devoted a whole room on our first level downstairs to music. We actually met through music, technically. We met at our old church through the worship team. And so Chad, my husband, is an amazing guitarist. He has built his own guitars, all this stuff. So we have all of those on the walls downstairs in our music room. And then it's crazy, when we got married, we had to combine all of our guitars, which is a blessing because we both are guitar freaks. And so the walls are covered with these guitars from our history, from our journeys as single people, which we both were single for a very long time in our lives before we found each other. And um, it's a journey for me, even as the musician that I've been throughout my life, and now being full time doing the job I love, my dream job of being a worship pastor and getting to share the love of Jesus through music. It is it's such a beautiful room for us. Like, it's not much in it yet, but it's the walls are black, of course, and then the guitars are on the wall, which just lets them shine. Right, the wall doesn't do anything. It's just kind of a blank canvas until you put these pieces of art on the walls, and then it's such a beautiful room. I love it. And there's plants in it, of course. And so that room is such a sanctuary of, um, I think, just coming home. Like music is just home for us, you know? And so um, that's where we practice for Sunday mornings. That's where we write together. That's where just music is born in our home. And so it was very special to devote a whole room to that. I think you can do that with any space, a corner of a room, whether you put a chair and a guitar or whatever it is. There's something special about a space that is devoted to something. Like I think more happens in it. Like when it's not that I can't sit on this chair in my living room and write a song. I totally can. But when I'm in a room that's literally devoted to music, that just opens up some kind of, my creative juices open up in a different way. I don't know how else to explain it. So that was just important for us, and I think that's really a beautiful thing for us to do in our homes is not just show up and express ourselves, but literally make space for what is important to us.
I love that. Make space for what is important to us. I think
Hmm.
there's been so many takeaways from our conversation. I think that that's probably one up at the top.
Hmm.
And we all have interests, whether
Oh.
it's art, whether it's crocheting, whether it's
Hmm.
drawing, whatever it is, but we may not make space for it
Right.
in a way that's intentional. So I
Yes.
think it's such an excellent point for everyone watching to kind of think about that. What do you have a
Mhm.
space in your home that's dedicated to your creativity and what you love to do? And if you
Yep.
don't, now's the time to kind of think about
Yep.
that. And if you don't have the space for an entire room, as you mentioned,
Hmm.
Daisy, a corner,
Hmm.
a shelf,
Right.
just
Yes.
display a few things on
Yeah.
your shelf to kind of just
Hmm.
kind of remind you every day of
Yeah.
the joy that you get from doing whatever that creative thing is for you.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
Look at that. Look at that. Now, getting back to the African decor really quick. For
Hmm.
those who are hesitant or they're
Hmm.
not sure where to start with
Hmm.
decorating with African decor,
Hmm.
what's one piece of advice you'd give them?
Yes. I would advise start small. I think a lot of times we think we have to go really big because, and maybe it's just because we have so much excitement toward it or toward reflecting ourselves in our home in that way that we kind of want to go for the really big items. Um, and then for me at least, price is a lot of what I decorate or how I decorate. And so I I do think starting small is helpful, not just for the price, but also for knowing kind of how you want to go about your space. You might have a big vision for a space, and you might not yet. And so I think it's really helpful to start with one thing. Like what is a very easy way to add African decor to a space? My thing is like, well, what do you already do? Like what would help you just continue to live your life the way that you already live it? And for me, like a huge thing is just like pillows. Like it's so comfortable to just have a pillow when on the couch when I sit down. And that was one of the first things actually that Chad and I did in order to bring some African decor into the home. We bought some pillow covers. We already had pillows, so that was a very cheap, easy way to add in some African decor to what already exists. Like we just want our couches to be more comfortable, right? So that's a very easy way to add that in. I think fans are such a great item. I'm gonna do a little plug right here. The fans that Anisha sells on her website, such an easy way to bring African decor into the home. Also, your napkin rings that I love them. They're so beautiful. I need to buy all of them. That's such an easy way to just dress the table even when no one is there or eating at it. Just put napkins in a napkin ring and put on the table. You're done. Like the littlest things can make a really big difference. And so I don't think we need to do these huge, I mean, you always can, but I don't think it takes a huge staple piece. I think a lot of times it's the subtle, beautiful ways that our African culture even exists anyway, right? Like it's a very, to me, my culture, my African culture is not this like overt, in your face, look at us. It can be. But what draws me to it is when it's like, I don't even have to put effort. I'm here. I exist, you know? Like it's just it's like it just is. And so I think when we take that mindset on when we are decorating our homes, like it doesn't African decor speaks so loud without even really having to try. So just start small.
Preach. Again, preach. You can tell when you have a pastor in the building because this is what you get.
And I'm a
And now
songwriter,
y'all
so I just
see. Now y'all see why I had to have a Daisy on the show because I wanted y'all to experience this. The magic and the majesty.
mm,
Um, so really quick, I do want to talk about your patio space because it is
mm,
another project that you did on your own that
mm,
the transformation was amazing.
mm.
Um, did you have a direction going into that project? Just kind of walk us through it really quick.
Yeah. Our direction was Oasis in the sky. Um, there wasn't a lot of there wasn't a lot of structure as far as this has to go here, this has to go here. It's a very blank space of a square, basically. And so we wanted to at least make zones, separate stuff here and there. So, my husband Chad got his amazing grill that we were so excited to get for this space. So that's in a corner. We'll eventually build that out, but that's kind of the food making corner. So right next to that is the table where we would eat. And then on the other side is the chill space, right? So we at least wanted to bring, it's already outdoors, but we wanted to bring more outdoors into it. So we put turf on the ground. And that was a way to like, we don't have a front yard, right? Well, we have like a teeny front yard, but that was a way to have like some outdoor yard sort of space. Um, and then we kind of went unconventional with that. We don't think that's a normal thing to do. People come up there, they're always like, "Oh, there's grass." We're like, "Yes, it's grass. Yeah, sure." But that's just kind of the way that we wanted to make that space ours, right? Like we wanted to warm it up a little bit, and so that was kind of the direction of it. We wanted it to feel like a very, I don't know what other word to use besides Oasis. We wanted it to just be a very relaxing, peaceful space. We put a fire pit up there so that when it gets a little colder, it'll just be such a cozy space. We have blankets on the right inside the door that people can grab to go out there. We have shades right by the door people can grab to go out there. Like it's very much, we wanted it to just feel like a relaxation space. Yeah, so we down to the color we chose, a calming color that doesn't feel girly or anything. It's just kind of like a neutral, relaxing thing. So yeah, the direction was kind of a lot of things into one, but we love it. It's one of our favorite places in the house.
Well, I think the important thing, and that's really interesting that you brought up, is that you had a name for what you wanted the space to
Mm,
feel like.
yeah.
You wanted an oasis. You wanted an outdoor oasis.
Hmm.
I think that's a great idea that we can all use, whether we're
Mm,
we're decorating an indoor space or an outdoor space.
yeah.
Come up with a theme, come up with
Hmm.
how you want the room to feel, and then that can help guide some of your
Yes.
design choices and your decisions.
Yep.
A lot of
Definitely.
people are like, well, I don't know the first thing about matching patterns. I don't know the first thing about
Yep.
mixing colors. I don't have a green thumb. None of the plants would
Hmm.
make it in my house. But if you said, for this room, I want it to feel like an outdoor oasis,
Yes.
that automatically gives you some assistance, some
Hmm.
guidance as to the color choices that are
Yes.
available or the feel, the pattern. So I
Hmm.
think that's a great takeaway is to whatever type of space you're decorating, come up with a theme or direction
Yes.
because that can help take away some of the overwhelm
Definitely.
because
Yeah.
now you're not thinking about a something that's more regal or something that's more
Right.
glam because that's not what
Hmm.
you're creating. You're
Right.
creating an outdoor oasis.
Yes.
So what falls under that umbrella? What are some of the colors that might fit? So I think
Hmm.
that's an excellent takeaway.
Yep.
um, Now let's get into our lightning round.
Okay.
Daisy, I'm going to ask you just a couple questions and you tell me the first answer that comes to mind.
Okay.
A biopic is made about your life. Who would you pick to play you?
Uh, Um, oh no, I'm blanking on her name. Oh no. Oh no. Well, you know what? Since I forgot her name, I'll go with someone else. Honestly, Viola Davis. I would feel so honored, but I feel like that would be a step down for her. But I would feel so honored if she were to play my, if she were to play me. She's amazing. She's inspiring.
That's an awesome choice.
Thank you.
She's great at everything that she does.
True.
Is there one design or decorating book you'd recommend?
Yes. Yes, actually. I have it right here, actually. So, Living Wild by Mr. Hilton Carter. I love that, first of all, a black man put himself on his cover. Can we all just start doing that when we write books? Please, black people, let's just all do that. We are the art. But I love that I think Hilton does such a good job of redefining what black manhood can be.
Mm.
I think so many
Hmm.
people would look at him and be like, that's not typical. And it's like, first of all, don't define our blackness by one thing. Second of all, I just think it's really beautiful for us to see him embodying what he believes in so boldly. And then I just love plants so much. And so I think it's such a beautiful way to decorate our home. They can be really cheap. You can make your own again and again by propagating. And he has so many good ideas in this book. So this sits on our coffee table. It's a beautiful cover anyway. And then this is not paid or anything. I just really love his book. But yeah, he's such an inspiration. And so he talks about how to style plants in your home and cultivate happiness. And I
Mm.
can say like it's a real thing. And so I love books like that. I think that's a beautiful addition to the world.
Knowing what you know now, when it comes to either decorating or the DIY projects you've done,
Mhm.
if you could go back in time, what's one thing you would do differently?
Hmm. Are you talking about this home or just in general?
Yes, your current home.
Okay. Um, is it bad if I don't have anything? Like not yet anyway. I'm really trying to think. What will we change? Um, I wouldn't change anything. I don't feel like that's a great answer, but I really love the way we've been making this home our home.
Sometimes the answer is not an answer,
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm going with. Thank you.
and that's okay. That's
Yeah,
okay. Daisy, where can we find you online?
you can find me at Adaeze Noel on pretty much any social media outlet, and then my website and my blog is shetheadventurous.com.
All right, and we will add all of the Daisy's link below in the description so you could check
Hmm,
out all of her work, including her visual art, which is absolutely stunning.
thank you.
I'm waiting for all the things to come out, the clothes, the pillows, the coffee mug. I'm just putting that out there,
Thank you.
speaking it into existence because her art is
Hmm,
beautiful.
hmm.
Um, and I want to thank all of you for watching. That's it, y'all. This is how we live. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And to add more style and culture to your home, shop reflectiondesign.com.